The year is 2016. The expansion of WoW, Warlords of Draenor, is nearing its end. The Warcraft movie is gonna be out soon. Arcade turned pay to win and was losing players left and right. So everyone was looking for something new, something fresh. Oh, what's that in the background? Look, it's another Asian MMORPG being ported to the West. I'm sure nothing is gonna go wrong here. Wait, are you telling me the game has an action combat system, amazing graphics with 16 times the detail, tons of PvP and PvE content, and developers that seem to care? Oh wow, the community manager even did interviews talking about how our version is gonna be different.
You can take the time to write it out, to explain what you want or why you think it would be good for the game. It's not going to be ignored. You can join.
The pre-order packages go up to 100 euros, which is a bit weird, but I'm sure there are no bad intentions behind it. The MMO players at this point are like beat dogs. They've been scarred so many times by other MMOs. So everyone stayed skeptical, which makes sense. They released what's going to be inside of the cash shop before the game came out. Let's look at it together and see if the developers were actually lying about pay to win. What? Wait, what? You can only get convenient things? I mean, the weight and inventory slots are pretty bad, not gonna lie, but no actual pay to win. At this point, everyone was on board. Around 400,000 people bought the pre-orders, which is insane. But the costumes were a bit overpriced, but it wasn't a huge deal, right? The game is set to release on the 3rd of March. Oh look, it's February already. Wait, what is that?
Producing an MMO like this isn't just about the publisher, it's about the people that are going to play the game.
Oh man, he really seems to care.
You guys are very familiar with other MMOs, and they will remain unnamed, and how they treaded that slippery slope and eventually, unfortunately, went the way of pay to win. How strong are you guys against that?
Well, this was a direct tie between I pay money, I have a better chance to enchant. That's buying power with money. That's another item that has been removed from our marketplace. We've taken a lot of steps to eliminate anything that could be pay to win.
Oh, he's really speaking what we want to hear as well. No pay to win, since if they actually added it, then they would go down the slippery slope, right? Alright lads, this is gonna be the game to kill World of Warcraft. Wait, why is time passing by so quick? Stop it. It is the 3rd of March. The game releases. It's actually not pay to win. And good. What? You're telling me they actually kept their promises? Everyone was enjoying BDO at this point. The game had a couple of problems, but most people were looking past it and they were having the time of their lives. A couple of months go by. Why am I hearing boss music in the background? Who is it?
It's me.
What do you want from me? We are excited to announce the release of value packs. What are value packs? It is a premium subscription to the game, and the benefits it gives is actually crazy good. Playing without a value pack on, you are almost wasting your time. They stated in a dev interview that they moved these buffs to the loyalty shop and you wouldn't be able to get it from the perk shop. But the one from the loyalty shop only lasts for 1 day and you can only buy one every 2 weeks. Then they ended up just straight up adding it to the perk shop. And this one lasts 1 month. Not hard to see what the problem is with this, right? They also ignored the feedback on Merv's palette. People were outraged. Everyone was modding. So what did they do? 2 weeks later, they allowed players to register a maximum amount of 5 perk shop items per week on the marketplace. I swear you cannot make this shit up. They couldn't even go 2 weeks without releasing something new that pay to win. Once you go down that slippery slope, you can never turn back.
Spoiler, they didn't.
What was the devs' response to all of this? They must have a pretty good reason to do this, right? It's just us overreacting in the end, so let's listen to what they have to say.
They feel like the game was made pay to win, a lot of people are saying. What would you say to those criticisms?
I mean, I can understand that a lot of people perceive it this way, But if you actually, because this system was actually like built into the game already from like very early stage and was rolled out at this time. If you now look at how the market self-regulates, you need to sell a lot of premium items in order to get enough silver to do anything meaningful with it. So at the moment, and we are closely looking at how this is unfolding, and we are closely monitoring the in-game economy. But at the moment, I think it's very hard to justify that it's pay to win.
They are doubling down on it. It's just us overreacting and perceiving it as pay to win. Oh yeah, my bad developers, yeah, my bad. My bad for choosing to buy this game. The outrage was incredible. People were quitting left and right. So what were the devs doing? Jack shit. They kept these in the game and everyone went on with their lives. But the explanation for this was that these systems were built into the game from the ground up, which is not true. So that would mean we aren't getting any other pay to win items in the future, right? Fans rejoiced thinking that this was all. Since for the upcoming months when players were leaving the game, they actually didn't add anything else into the game. The audience that stayed also thought that this was to battle RMT or real money trading. What happened after this? These 3 words are enough to bring any grown man onto their feet. Sea monster hunting. Who the fuck is it this time? It's RMT. You kill monsters, monsters give loot that you can sell for guild silver. The guild masters then could do guild payouts to specific members of that guild. And what guild masters of sea monster hunter guilds would do at the time is they would invite the buyer to their guild and do a payout to them for IRL cash. This was a huge problem. There were tons of people buying payouts and it was almost untraceable as well, since the transactions were done privately. Now you may think that I'm over-exaggerating, but some guild masters made up to 6 figures just from selling payouts. Sea monster hunting was a huge problem either way. You could gear up so quickly from it that everyone chasing gear had to abuse this. It took them 2 years until they stopped RMT and sea monster hunting in general, despite them caring so much. A couple of other not very notable things happened. As time went on, the devs have not listened to any suggestions regarding content at this point, but players didn't mind that much since the game was still good. A new item released. Looks like it's a virtual tent? How much does it cost? You're telling me it's 50 euros? I could buy a real life one for like 31 euros, what do you mean? And what revolutionary things can this virtual tent do? It can give you tons of different buffs that are insanely important to have. You can also repair at it, so you don't have to go back to town to repair. Not hard to see why this is a problem. Even Korean players were upset, but hey, the devs just looked the other way, like nothing ever happened. The sea monster problem was still at large at this point, and oh, what is that? It's the update that changed it all. It's the update that they promised would never be added to our region, costume melting. So what does it do? The overpriced costumes you buy through the market can be melted for cronstones or walk scries. The walk scry isn't the problem. They did say that they would never add it, but it's a good thing we have them. But cronstones are a huge advantage. If you enhance and fail the enhancement, your item will degrade. But crons allow you to enhance without your item degrading. A lot of people were outraged, but there were always those defending these shady practices. What can you do?
And how they treaded that slippery slope and eventually, unfortunately, went the way of pay to win. How strong are you guys against that?
The slippery slope. The game went from a good cash shop to a shady one to an outright pay to win one in the span of 2 years. Also mind you, the sea monster hunting RMT was still at large at this point. You can probably guess what happened after this. You can sell more costumes a week on the market. They buffed the amount of crons these costumes give. They added more and more things that provide more and more of an advantage. There are still some forms of RMT still active to this day. Piloting service abuse is still huge nowadays. Speed hacking and selling those accounts that you speed hacked. Some high-end players that I personally know of are still not banned to this day. Same with piloting service abuse. People who pay for other people to pay on their accounts are still not banned to this day. And they publicly state in Discords that they are using piloting services. But I don't want the whole video to be about that. How about we look back on the interviews a bit and see some other things that don't quite line up.
Buy to play. Why?
It will also help to balance the game because we don't have to use free-to-play, pay-to-win antics to earn money. Our Western version will differ in many ways from the versions that are out in other markets. The buy-to-play business model will help us really balancing the game. There's no subscription model. We do have a cash shop, but that cash shop will mostly only sell vanity items and some convenience items, but nothing that relates to a pay-to-win model.
You say that your version will be a little different from the Korean version.
Cash shop will be geared towards vanity items more than anything else. Obviously, we will make some pricing adjustments because people have already paid up front. Content which we will release will be more geared towards the Western market to adapt the game as good as possible for our audience.
There were a couple of other interviews just like this one, but I couldn't stand watching them anymore. And you get the point already. Like, it legit hurt my brain seeing them live for 10 minutes straight on 10 different videos. There's another interview that I wanted to completely cover, so let's speedrun that one.
Whenever something is that important to the community, it is our job to look into it and try to provide the best solution that we possibly can. Actually, I can give some pretty solid examples that people that have followed the other regions, they've already seen it, and I'll gladly share it with everyone here. So if you look at the cash shop right now, under the loyalty section, there is an item, it's called the Blessing of Camisilvia. This gives you increased energy regeneration, and it gives you a 20% loot buff. I believe it's 24 hours long. This is a market item that is available for purchase in the Korean region. You can buy it, you can sell it on the auction house. It's a pretty significant buff. We're talking 20% loot gain. It's pretty big. Instead of having that available directly via the cash shop where you can spend some money and have that kind of buff, we've moved it over to the loyalty section. And the way loyalty works is every day whenever you log in, you're going to receive 100 loyalty points. This means you don't need to pay, etc. If you play the game, you'll eventually get that buff, and it's bound to you. Even at that stage, you can't sell it. And there was a shout of August, or a shout of as well. What this item would do would allow you to give yourself a better chance to enchant an item, and you could use multiple of them to significantly increase your chance to successfully upgrade your weapon. Well, this was a direct tie between I pay money, I have a better chance to enchant. That's buying power with money. That's another item that has been removed from our marketplace. We've taken a lot of steps to eliminate anything that could be pay to win. This is one of the instances where I feel like saying pay for convenience and pay for aesthetic are really what is happening here. And it's a stance we've taken very strongly, and hopefully everyone will agree it's being reflected in what you're seeing in the game. One of your viewers, Joey Zombie, he's asked, can you buy a costume on the market and then sell it on the auction house? No, in our region, the items that you purchase from the auction house, they're yours. You cannot go and relist them.
Listen to how he says this sentence. At this stage.
At this stage, there is no link between you monetizing and being able to sell something in-game.
Now let's just stop it here. I could make an hour-long video about this. There are so many hour-long interviews where they constantly keep lying and lying. Let's just move on with our lives. So thanks for watching. Bye.